Joe Rogan has ruffled some feathers with his new Netflix special, and it's a landmark special. Haven't been able to catch it, and to be completely honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of Joe Rogan's stand-up. I know. I liked some of his podcasts back in the cut, and it's been a long time since I've tuned into any of them, but I do like his commentary on some things. I know, right? Really taking a firm stand on this. I like some things that Joe Rogan says, and I don't like other things that he says. But when it comes to popular pundits that are out there, I agree with them more often than I don't, but when I don't, I very much disagree with them. But that's kind of how it goes with most people. It's redundant to say that I don't agree with everything that guy says, because I don't agree with everything that I say on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, okay? But yeah, I think Joe Rogan is probably making the world a better place for his inclusion, as opposed to what these freaks are trying to do after his new Netflix special has launched, because it was, I guess, is it the first live comedy special that was streamed on the platform? Because Netflix, yeah, they're trying to get into the live game, okay, especially when it comes to sporting events. They're still doing, whenever that's been rescheduled, I think that's in November, the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul boxing match, which freak show written all over it, but not the biggest freak show to come out in November, even still. And then they've also bought stream rights to Monday Night Raw or something like that, so the Fed's going to be putting on a program over there so they could go ahead and hide their dwindling ratings. Making strides, and Netflix definitely won the streaming wars, so they can go ahead and flex their muscles. I just don't really know if there's any benefit to having live programming outside of sports. Like that makes sense. You know, sports still draws numbers. Live comedy, that's interesting. I wonder how well it did. I haven't seen any numbers yet, but Joe Rogan's definitely one of the most prominent comics that's out there. So to launch this idea with him, makes all the sense in the world, specifically for the people that are going to tune in for Joe Rogan's comedy, and for the detractors that are out there, that are definitely out there. So Joe Rogan mocks trans people, COVID vaccine in a new Netflix special. Basically, you could have rewrote that headline by saying Joe Rogan does Joe Rogan's comedy more at 11. Let's see what's got them upset. Joe Rogan never holds back. 56-year-old comedian and podcaster, new Netflix special Burn the Boats premiered Saturday night and is filled with jokes about the transgender community and the COOF vaccine and more. Rogan, who has previously made headlines for some of his controversial views, which ones exactly, like men shouldn't compete in women's sports, and hey, all of that hysteria around 2020 was a bit laughable, those controversial views? Okay. He discussed on his regular podcast, said during his stand-up show, that America has become too accepting of trans people. Oh, there it is right there. Too accepting of trans people. Well, yeah, given the fact that they've run roughshod over society over the past 5 years, for sure. 5 years. I just want to be real clear. I believe in trans people. Well, yeah, they do exist. Not in the way that they want you to believe that they exist, but they're definitely out there. Mental illness is a thing. Because I think the world is strange. Nature's strange. And nature can throw you a curveball and you believe that you're in the wrong body. And I fully support your right as an adult to do whatever you want that makes you happy. I believe in freedom. And I believe in love, but I also believe in crazy people. There it is. There's the kicker. We can play the fun game of trying to dissect the joke, but I think the writing's right there. Yes, I believe in socially acceptable things like freedom and love. And then there's crazy people to just, tack on and drive home the point that, yeah, if you want to go ahead and chop things off or put things on, yeah, I don't really know if you're getting the best help that you're trying to look for. I'm open-minded. I just want to know what happened. It's almost like a pervert wizard waved a magic spell on the whole world. With a wave of this wand, you can walk into women's locker rooms with a hard cock, and anybody who complains is a Nazi. Abracadabra. And it just works. Was he channeling Ron Popeil? Did that wizard, wave a wand in your direction and you just immediately got hit with a fantastic idea to proselytize the masses with the idea of setting it and forgetting it? It just works. It just works. Todd Howard will be on the podcast in coming weeks. Now, Rogan went on, and everyone just accepts this new reality. Holy Christ, that's the stage that he was at? That is super impressive. That's amazing. And everybody just accepts this new reality, and it's weird. It's weird. I just think we need standards. You can't just put lipstick on, and now you can, take a crap in the women's bathroom. Well, yeah, of course, the former Fear Factor host also mocked gay men. Well, of course. He's just running the entire gamut. I don't feel safe at this. I think about gay men, the same way I think about mountain lions. I'm happy they're real, but I don't want to be surrounded by them. Yeah, okay. A bunch of dudes who, bang dudes. I don't like my chances, okay? They're not unicorns. They're just men who, yes, have relationships with men. Rogan said he's not even remotely homophobic, adding, I'm quite opposite. I wish I was gay. Not having to deal with those pesky women. I understand. Earlier in the special, Rogan talked about his skepticism of the jab. Oh my God. Before the coof, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After the coof, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. And I think that there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica. But what about a certain group of people having lasers on the moon? What do you think about that, Joe? After the audience laughed, Rogan said, I'm just kidding. I don't think Michelle Obama's got a dick, but I do believe all that other shit. That's very transphobic. Why would you say that, Joe? Rogan confessed that he might have played a part in spreading vaccine misinformation, but he doesn't care. Might have played a part in saying, hey, look at these are all the treatments that I'm on after I got diagnosed and I got better in like 3 days. I don't know, consult with your physician. And then you had CNN color correct his footage to make him look sicker than he was, but he's responsible for the misinformation. Okay. Or maybe he's just going to talk about having Peter Hotez on a couple of different times and he was the one who was spreading misinformation. Okay. Here's my take on that, sincerely. If you're getting your vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault? It's not my job, kids. I'm a professional S-talker. Some of the things I say make sense. A lot of them don't. It's up to you to figure out what's what. That's the fun part. Yeah, exactly. He has conversations. He never professes to be a medical professional. He's simply a guy who asks questions. And if you want to take his advice because you think that it's well reasoned, that's all on you, but ultimately it's your decision at the end of the day. Burn the Boats is Rogan's first comedy special in 6 years. It was shot live at the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas. His previous Netflix comedy specials are Joe Rogan's Strange Times in 2018 and Triggered from 2016. In recent years, Rogan has been best known for his popular podcast, for like the past decade, alright, just drawn criticism and controversy over his coof misinformation and anti-vaccine statements. Oh, come on, you got to cite your sources on that one, guys. Because like I said, I'm not the biggest Rogan fan anymore. I used to be, an ardent listener, and ever since the Spotify deal, I very much fell off and only got like a handful of episodes when he went exclusively over there. And since he's come back to YouTube, I haven't watched a clip. They've been recommended to me a fair amount of times, but haven't bothered to click on any one of them, mostly because, the guests that I see that's on there, I don't really care about their opinions. Or I've heard them on other podcasts before, knowing that there's not going to be any revelatory information to come out. That's just me. Obviously, it's still a wildly successful podcast. It's between him and Tucker for #1 spots, which is wild to think about, but this is where we're at, guys. Rogan has also faced backlash over his use for the N-word, right when they were trying to cancel him. Oh my, good times. And his comments on transgender people. Yeah, back when he was getting, dragged through the coals in, I think, 2016, in regards to Fallon Fox, one of the first transgender mixed martial artist pioneers who cracked the skull of a female participant, and Rogan had the wild assertion that maybe we shouldn't be letting lesser males compete with women in combat sports. Maybe that's a bridge too far. Post was also told that some Spotify staffers were antagonized by his 2023 comments on Jews. Like what? The idea that Jewish people don't like money is ridiculous. Everybody likes money. Okay. That's like saying Italians aren't into pizza. It's stupid. Yeah, of course, if you want to talk about a group of people that bend over backwards trying to be victims on a more consistent basis, well, an easy way to identify that group is just based on the size of the hat. Burn the Boats is streaming on Netflix. Yeah, I'm probably not going to check it out, but then again, I'm probably going to be in the vast minority of people that are searching for comedy that's out there. I think Rogan is a better UFC commentator than he is a podcaster, but he's still a pretty damn good podcaster, and he's better at that than he is at comedy. It's the same opinion that I have when it comes to Dave Chappelle. He's a much better sketch comedy improv master than he is a stand-up. People will... You'll like what you like when it comes to certain artists that are out there. While I don't agree with everything that Rogan says, I think that he's an important voice that's out there. That definitely, not all of his opinions, but he does a damn good job cultivating and honing his opinions based on new information that he gets than a vast majority of people that's out there. I'll tell you this, I will leave you guys with this. I would rather listen to your bog standard Joe Rogan episode as opposed to one of the more moderate liberals than an episode of the Bill Maher podcast. I think there's far more to learn from Rogan. There's far fewer brain cells to burn by checking out JRE. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.